part of the context for the idea of rights, and part of what it means that they're two independent beings, or the beings that have rights are independent of one another, is that each of them could act with respect to the other or not. So you can ask me a question, I can answer it, or you could not, and I don't. We could work together or not. We could each go our separate ways. And then there's a question, given that these two beings can interact or not interact, how are we going to govern their interactions? What's up to whom? When should they and shouldn't they interact? But if you think about a fetus in the woman, there's nothing the woman can do that doesn't affect the fetus. And nothing the fetus can do, it doesn't do the things it does consciously, but it squirms about and so forth, that doesn't affect the woman. It's a constant, there's no ability not to act together while they're in that situation. And that's what shows you that the context for this concept of rights just isn't applicable yet. It only starts to come up when you have two things and the question of how are they going to interact. When one's in the other and constantly acting on the other, and whether what she eats affects it and so forth constantly, that context just isn't there. And the other point about rights that's important here is rights don't exhaust morality. There are all kinds of things I could insult you, whatever, that would be wrong to do to you, that aren't a violation of your rights. And there might be some things the woman can do with respect to the fetus that would be wrong, but that doesn't mean they're violations of rights. And there might be some cases in which an abortion would be wrong, but it's not the same thing as violating the fetus's rights. That presupposes two beings interacting.
So how do you, I think one counter argument you get is how do you draw the line with children? Like, and they'll say, a 1-year-old, can you kill a 1-year-old? The 1-year-old isn't independent, right?
Well, that's why I think this sense of independence, they can interact or not, it really helps concretize that. Because even the moment the baby's out of the womb, the moment it's born, it's not constantly in every respect acting on the mother and she on him anymore. Right? Now, it's true, it can't live on its own. It needs someone to take care of it. But anybody else could come in and fill in the gap. If the mother wants to give it up for adoption, she could. If she abandons it, which would be wrong, nevertheless, somebody else could come and take it. And I think abandoning it should be illegal, but nonetheless, someone could come in and take it. So it's not, they're not joined closer than at the hip, joined in the body. When they're joined in that way, there's no such thing as the mother acting or anyone acting on the mother that doesn't impact the fetus, or acting on the fetus that doesn't impact the mother. There's a really significant kind of independent separateness that happens at birth. And that has to be distinguished from the sense in which it's true. The baby does depend on its parent or on some caregiver.